Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Tom Stanley from Tom Stanley YouTube. See, I got a new haircut. Got a new bookshelf back there. A lot of things have changed since that last video, including my face because I got the stupid pimple on it. That's why I had to cut my hair. I didn't want to cut my hair in the wintertime. I like to grow it out, but I just thought it was causing me some freaking acne, and no one wants that. Looking like a volcano. So, as we all know, the New Year's started. We all have our New Year resolutions on what we're going to do. And I can make a bet that most people probably want to make more money this year than last year. In the case, that's me. But I have a feeling if you all watch this video, I think you all would enjoy making more money. The best way to make more money is to invest in yourself. What I mean by that is not investing in the stock market or that, what the average Joe does in an ETF or mutual funds or something like that. Like, no. First off, stock market, don't invest in that right now. They're too high. The stock, buy low, sell high. It's kind of like a Black Friday Walmart special. If the prices are low, you better get in there and you better get some stuff because them prices are low. Don't go wait when the prices are high and then jump in like an average Joe or whatever, because you won't make money that way. It's kind of the same thing with when the real estate market fell a couple years back. Many people in the recession would go buy these properties for practically nothing, hold them, get tenants in there, and now they're two, 3 times more than what they were. But in order to know all that, you have to invest in your financial education. And the best way you can invest in your financial education is with books. Yes, books. I used to hate books. I hated reading for a while. Like at school, they would make us read some boring stuff or something like that, and I just wasn't interested. Like, I didn't want to sit there and read about a story that never happened or something like that, and there were very few books that I did enjoy. But I heard about this little book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And one of the YouTubers I watch, Maverick, in case you're wondering, he always talked about reading books, and he talked about when you go into some true wealthy person's house, they have a bookshelf like this, and it's filled with books. Why is that? He said all of the houses he went into that were actually wealthy had big bookshelves about books. I started exploring that, and he recommended this book, and this book blew me away. This book has changed my life. And how I read it was the perfect timing, in my opinion, because I really started hitting that book when I was about 18 and I was graduating high school. If I didn't read this book, I'd probably have no idea what I'd want to do in college. I always thought I'd be an aerospace engineer, but I realized I was nowhere near smart enough for that. And I was like, well, what do I do? And so luckily, I started investing in my financial education and reading this book right here. And some of the things that this book taught me, I'm not going to say everything out of all these books because I want you all to read them and find out what it says, but I'll highlight some of the main things that I got from it. And the first thing about this book is there's a rich dad and a poor dad. It's obviously in the title. But the poor dad isn't the one you think. And that's what really got me started with this. Because I would wonder, why did some of the most famous entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates not go to college, and how did they get so wealthy? I started looking at the academics and all that, and I am in college. Here in the state of Tennessee, you could do 8 hours of community service and go to a community college, and they'll pay for the tuition, and that's pretty much nothing. But I go to school with a lot of people that have no idea what they want to do. They're just undecided, and they're just there. And a lot of those kids that I see, they're not motivated. And with college, if you're not motivated, the work's going to kick you in the butt. You have to be motivated to get there, go there, and to do the work. And I've talked to so many professors about that, and they've said the same thing. A lot of the kids there aren't motivated, and then they struggle. But if you're motivated, you know exactly what you want to do, and you go to college, you'll do fine. But this book really woke me up about it, and it really got me into entrepreneurship. One of the most important lessons this book taught me was the rich don't work for money. And what I mean by that is they aren't glued to their paycheck. They work a job because they love doing it. They're not glued to their paycheck like many Americans that are paycheck to paycheck. I used to work with a lot of people that would just work just so they'd get that paycheck, and they would bust it off and waste all their time just killing themselves for that paycheck. And I'd step back and say, is this really how you should live your life? Is just killing yourself, working, wasting your time, not being with your family or being with people you love being with or doing what you love? Like, what is that about? Your time's your most important asset. It's something everyone needs more of, and you have to be careful about how you use your time, especially with the people you use your time with. Second book I'm going to recommend is Rich Dad's Cashflow Quadrant. Now, this book was basically a part 2 from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it explains a little bit of what Rich Dad's mindset was. Where Rich Dad, how he got rich, which quadrants did he use, and the quadrants refer to where you get your money from. Now there's 4 quadrants. There's the E, which stands for employee. There's the S quadrant that stands for self-employed or small business, the big business quadrant, and then there's the professional investor quadrant. Now each quadrant does have their own perk. The B and the I quadrants have the best tax advantages to them. And it's simple. In order to become rich, and really rich, you just have to work in the B and I quadrants. Build a big business, which is hard to do. I'm not saying none of this will be easy, but you build a big business, you use the profits for that business and put it back into the business, and if you have spare money, you reinvest it through investments. This book called Tax-Free Wealth that I just finished reading kind of comes a lot from the quadrants. Everyone makes money from different places, but if you want to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes, then you use the Tax-Free Wealth book, which is very based off of the Cashflow Quadrant book with the new Trump tax cuts and all that. That's what the Tax-Free Wealth is based off of, but the tax law is a series of incentives. By that, if you do what the government tells you to do, you will get rich. If you do what they tell you to do, you won't pay as much in taxes. And taxes are your number one expense. Our President Donald Trump pays taxes, but he practically pays nothing in taxes because he followed the tax law. If you follow what it does, that's how you reduce your taxes, and you get a lot of these deductibles, and almost any expense you have could be a deductible. Now, the book I'm reading right now, of course, is YouTube Secrets by Sean Cannell and Benji Travis, and this book is filled with loads of motivational information and basically how to do YouTube. And all this stuff is new to me, so I'm learning as I'm going. And this book, I've just loved it. This book has a lot of insights about how YouTube platform is growing and taking off and eventually could be the next TV, realistically. It might even be already beating TV what it is now. You might not even have cable anymore. You just will have like YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu in the future, which I just think is crazy. And basically, anyone can start their own YouTube off of cooking. You could do a YouTube off of vlogs, and you could make money doing that. If it's something you enjoy, like I enjoy giving financial education. I enjoy teaching people what all of these books say, which is financial education, and teaching people about it. I've had requests from people in my college classes about how I do so well on my tests, and I'm like, I just read books like a nerd, but I love reading and I love teaching people about it. And that's what I want to do with this channel, is to teach people what school doesn't teach you and teach you about your financial education. If you want to become rich and wealthy, do what these books tell you to do and you will get there. I promise that. With reading these books can be a hard task to do. So what I like to do is I read 10 pages a day. Now what I mean by that is I just read 10 pages, and sometimes if I can't put the books down, like this book and this book, I've had that several times to where I just could not put the book down. I'd read up to 20 pages. But the reason why I do 10 is because, one, it's an easy goal to do, and I read every day. It's an easy goal to get. Just read 10 pages every day. It's pretty doable. Sometimes it doesn't get done, that's okay. But if you can stay consistent with reading books, 10 pages a day, it's not a hard goal, and you can do it. The other reason number 2, is so you don't read so much information. You have a little bit of information and your brain can digest it. So you can think about what you just read. Because if you read like 20, 30 pages, you're not going to remember all of that. So if you read a little bit each day, it stays in here and you can sit there and think about it. Now, one last piece of advice is if you get like a little chart or something, or you don't understand something, please reread it until you do and insert your own numbers or things like that so it'll make sense to you. I just want to thank everyone for the last video that I put out. It shocked me. I didn't think I would do that well with the views and subscribers and likes. Honestly, I thought, I'd get 60 views and not like double that. And I just want to say thank you all for watching. Thank you all for all the support, because it's hard to just sit here and talk on the camera, and the camera I use is my phone, but it's hard for me to do that because I've never really done it before. And I'm getting better. I'm working on it, but I just hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you all can get some more money this year. If you want to talk to me on my social media, links are below. And just want to say thank you again for watching. See you next time.